Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third party review. Today, thanks to the guys over at tfdirect.com, I'm finally taking a look at Blast. This is part of their Lost Age starting today. It's WK08, aka Transformers Blastoff, aka Warbotron Airburst. Yes, this is of course the bootlegged version of the Warbotron figure, brought to us by WuKong. Now, as the story goes, the guy who's behind WuKong got pretty poorly sick last year, and the factory suspended production. And it started up again this year, so we finally have the third figure in the line. On the side and the back of the box, which has got him in, here's the jet mode, here's bot mode again, we've got the accessories that come with him. As far as I'm aware, these are all the standard accessories. We don't get none of those funky Gundam weapons that we got with the other two. Here he is out of his plastic prison. Now, first impressions, he looks exactly like the Warbotron version, but there is a big but. Vortex has been delayed because there was some production problems. I can't help but feel that Blast has been a little bit rushed. The more and more I go over him, the more I find lots and lots of sprue marks. Kind of all over him. If you look underneath his arm there, some there where it just hasn't been done properly. They kind of just rushed them out. I mean, you have to look pretty closely. I mean, to look at normally, he just looks like a fantastically designed figure. All credit has to go to Warbotron there, but it's just he's plagued with them. They are literally everywhere. It's like he's broke out in some sort of rash. It's such a shame. But I apparently am not alone. It's a common fault throughout this production. That being said, he still looks phenomenal, doesn't he? That's such a great rendition of Blastoff as a character. He feels exactly the same build-wise as the other two figures in the series, scaling brilliantly with them. They are a phenomenally awesome design. Another problem with mine is the inability to hold his guns. Again, look at the mark on the bottom there. Another sprue mark, he just doesn't want to hold in as well. You can still extend his sprue-ridden gun by pulling that out. And again, at the end, got another mark. It's just the finish. They've rushed this out. It's lacking that final QC check. It's a shame because it is, in essence, a fantastic figure, and it's a ridiculously low price in comparison to the original. It's just dependent on whether you want to take that hit. If you're happy to have something that's a little bit rough around the edges, if we have a look at my knee there, it looks like the knee hasn't quite squared up as well. Still a damn fine looking figure though. Articulation-wise, he is an extremely dynamic-looking figure. He is absolutely jam-packed. The head can look up and down, left and right. The shoulder pad sections are on a ball there, so they can lift up, which prevents any hindrance of the shoulders. Shoulders can come up. This section can turn all the way around. Got an upper bicep swivel. Got a nice bend at the elbow. We have a rotation at the fist. The hands do unlock and close. The waist does rotate quite nicely there. The flap at the front here goes up, which allows us to get pretty much a full range of motion forwards. Nice full range of motion back. Lovely soft ratchets in these thighs as well. Friction joint going outwards. Upper thigh swivel. Bend at the knee. Not a great deal of depth there. Actually feels like the knee joint should come up slightly higher than that. This doesn't seem to be a very decent range of motion there, unfortunately. We do come down to the ankles. We have some nice pivoting there, and we do have some forwards and backwards motion as well. I do love the levels of detailing on this guy. Faults aside, fantastic face sculpt. Loving the translucent purple on the chest there. Come round to the back. It's a little bit of a nose cone, kibble heavy section there. Gotta love these thrusters. Such a gorgeous purple being used, well, a really nice deep purple. Now originally I never intended to have these as part of my masterpiece collection, but the more and more I play around with them, the more and more they just seem to fit in there, and they really do help bulk up the Decepticon masterpiece army. Right, now let's get him transformed up into his vehicle mode. Your first port of call is to grab these ball jointed shoulder sections, rotate them up and round and rotate them into the middle there. Just fit the head in there nicely. I do cover up that section, keeping everything clean and tidy, and just tab those in together. Flip this cockpit section up and over, and this here is going to flip round, and that's going to just tab in on the side there. You want to unpeel these sections here, and this side here, unpeel this, come round to the arm, you want to rotate that up, and this section needs to be facing forwards, so you want to just pull the forearm section up, like so, and just fold the fist into the forearm, applying pressure just above the thigh, and pushing up from the calf, and just slide the legs up, and then just tab those together. It's a plug there and a plug there, and they just tab in. Come down to the toes, rotate them around, push this section up and down, and then flip up the exhaust. Bring the shoulder around to the back, and you can bring this section down, and as you're going to bring it down, it just turns, and there's a tab underneath here which tabs into here, and then this section here wraps around. There's a tab here which tabs into the legs. So let's just bring this in, and let's tab that down there, line that up, and then tab that one in as well, and then we can just close off these sections. Again, they're just going to tab in here and here, like so. Fold out the wing sections and place your guns underneath, and yes, I am missing a piece. I've emailed TF Direct and they're looking into it. Mine didn't come with 2 wing sections, and he came with 1, which is a complete pain in the backside. You can flip up the wheels at the front here, and then we can join our 2 tail fin sections together. They literally just tab together, and then you've got these 4 pegs. They're going to tally up, and we can then push those down and down, finishing him off nicely. Here he is in his alt mode. It's a fantastic looking jet. Absolutely. It's kind of a space shuttle, isn't it? And it looks sublime. Absolutely gorgeous. Kind of gutted about my wing section there, but just take that one off. There we go. Look, it's symmetrical. Nice tail fin. Again, the colour scheme is glorious. It looks incredible. Nice translucent plastic used on the front there. Nice highlighted sections throughout. Again, loving that deep purple. See what I mean? You've got these little nicks everywhere over this guy. Underside, we've got a little bit of visible bot mode there, but nothing too untoward. Here he is alongside some masterpiece figures for a scale comparison. He looks nice, doesn't he? That is a really gorgeous alt mode. Now, I know a lot of people moaned and groaned about the fact he did not have 3 thrusters on the back. It's kind of more Cybertronian, really, I think, than Earthbound. I think maybe these were their original forms. Then they were imprisoned on Cybertron. And then Starscream made his brigade and then used their consciousness, and hence they formed very similar shapes. I don't know, but it looks good nonetheless. Right, now there's nothing in the instructions at all about transforming him into his limb mode, so I'm just going to do it exactly the same way as what you do with the Warbotron figure. Right, remove the backpack section. You want to fold these sections down under the wing. You want to fold this section up and this section over. Now normally if we had 2 of these sections, when you fold this section over, it would cover up this gap in the middle there, but for now, because we only have 1, that gap is going to be exposed. From here, we want to grab this section and just yank it apart. Give it a good tug. Basically, we're going to slide the legs out until they lock and click into place. This, in essence, is actually going to form the waist section, is going to be the elbow of Bruticus. Lift up the thruster section, come around to the side panels, untab this section here. You want to also untab the big section here, just give that a little poke. Bend back this section, it does not bend all the way down, do not force it, it will snap. Then bring this arm down to this position, bend this elbow like so, pop this section down like that, push that in, and then push that down. And that's basically the arms transformed. You want to rotate the waist around, because this is going to be the elbow. Lift that up. I can now bend outwards like this. You then come to this translucent section, flip this up, that goes all the way up to the top, then it bends back down on itself. Then you want to really struggle to get the peg out. There it is. There is the peg. Now that, I believe, was the official Warbotron transformation for this character. Now there are various different fan modes and different alterations. You can do this by tucking these arms in and out of the way. I'll cover those when and eventually if we get their onslaught. So obviously we don't have any hands or any feet or anything to go with these guys yet. I'm assuming they are all going to come with him. I certainly hope so. And here we have him in a scale comparison alongside Masterpiece Sideswipe. Just to give you an idea, he's the size of a good Voyager figure when he's in limb mode. That just gives you a good idea of how big Bruticus is going to be. Now, Vortex should be with me within the next few days, so fingers crossed he doesn't have those slight imperfections that this guy does. Overall, I'm happy with my purchase. I'm glad I got him. I would have liked him a lot sooner, but hey, if the factory's not working, the factory's not working. Imperfections aside, he is a pretty darn good figure. Warbotron done a fantastic job of originally designing and producing this figure. WuKong done an amazing job at bootlegging it and making it somewhat affordable. And I honestly cannot wait to complete the big guy himself. Thanks again to the guys over at TF Direct for stocking this, and until next time from myself and Blast, goodbye.